Kaugnay din po niyan mga kabombo at para mabigyan po tayo ng mas malawak kong pag-unawa dito ho sa confirmation of charges hearing. Kasama na po yung role o yung papel nitong mga co-perpetrator. Kasi kung babalikan po natin, just a few days ago, naglabas po ang International Criminal Court ng listahan ng mga co-perpetrator. So alamin po natin ang role ho nila, yung papel ho nila sa magiging hearing and of course, or confirmation of charges hearing at of course kung tutuloy po ito sa trial kinalaunan. Kasama ho natin ang isa po sa mga Filipino international law expert, si Attorney Rodel Taton. Siya po nagsisilbing Dean ng Graduate School of Law ng San Sebastian College, dyan po sa may Recoleto sa lungsod ho ng Maynila. Magandang araw po sa inyo. Welcome sa Bombo Radio Philippines, Attorney Taton, si Bombo Genesis at Bombo Jai po ito. Thank you so much for joining us sa Bombo Radio Philippines sa Bombo Network News. Kuha po kami ng ilang mga mas malawak na pangunawa, Attorney, lalo ho doon ho sa role ho ng mga co-perpetrator na una nga pong natukoy ng International Criminal Court nito nakalipas na mga araw. Kapag halimbawa isang tao ay napangalanan bilang co-perpetrator, ano pong implikasyon ho nito at ano po yung magiging impact ho nito doon sa magiging pagdinig sa kaso ni dating Pangulong Duterte sa konteksto ho ng international law, Attorney?
When we speak about co-perpetrator in the case of crimes against humanity in the aspect of the International Criminal Court, ang ibig sabihin lamang po nito ay they are considered as principals, meaning to say that the liability is equal and at the same time, they are not treated as secondary liability. So, they are considered as principals.
So, wala pong diferensya, wala pong pagkakaiba kapag napangalanan ka halimbawa bilang co-perpetrator at principal suspect. Kasi dati si dating Pangulong Duterte pinangalanan or kinikilala po siya bilang principal suspect, meaning pareho pa rin po sila ng criminal liabilities kung sakali, Attorney.
Kasi dito sinasabi dito na they are identified as co-perpetrator. So meaning to say that all of them committed as perpetrators of the crime. So if they shared the same intention, so they are considered to be co-perpetrators and they have equal liabilities on this.
Safe bang sabihin, Attorney, na kinalaunan pareho din po sila ng kahaharaping verdict and consequently magiging kaparusahan, Attorney?
If we look at the accusations here, we look at the accusations in the bigger picture, that one act connects the act of another. So mean to say that we are looking at the entirety of the scheme of the commission of the crime, particularly of crimes against humanity, in this case of Duterte and the co-perpetrators.
Bombo Jai, may follow-up ka kay Attorney bago natin dakuan yung ibang usapin.
Add ko lang, Attorney, posible ba na kinalaunan ay may isyuhan din sila ng warrant?
Yes, that is a possibility because under the rules of the International Criminal Court, once there is a probable cause for the issuance of warrant of arrest, the same will be issued. In fact, we have heard about this warrant of arrest, in the voice of now Ombudsman, and in fact, we haven't seen Senator De La Rosa in the Senate of the Philippines because of the allegations of the issuance of warrant of arrest already.
Pero kung pareho sila ng criminal liability, bakit po kaya mas natagalan itong paglalabas ng warrant laban sa mga co-perpetrator as compared kay former President Duterte na dating natukoy bilang principal suspect, Attorney?
We remember that we are currently at the pretrial stage of the proceedings, and in fact, the prosecution and also the defenses were given the opportunity to strengthen their evidence also. So, kasama doon sa investigasyon, not only at the time of the previous prosecutor, but the current prosecutor, and even after the first hearing of former President Duterte, the prosecution was allowed to gather evidence. In fact, there was a call for victims and taking of their statements and evidence to strengthen, because that would be the next proceedings here in this case, so confirmation of charges where yes, they will be charged.
And kung sakali maglalabas ng International Criminal Court ng warrant of arrest against the co-perpetrators, may dalawang question ulit po dito, Attorney. ano yung best way na pagsisilbi dito? Tutulong ba ulit ang local law enforcement? And second, kung maaresto sila, isa-surrender ba dapat sila? O susundin natin itong extradition tulad nung ipinilit ng kampo ni former President Duterte?
First and foremost, you have to look at it in the perspective kung saan at kung ano ang magre-resolve ng dispute na ito. So we have an international tribunal that is handling this case, the International Criminal Court. And the issue is crimes against humanity. The nature of the crime is such a crime considered to be a universal crime. In international law, we consider that, in fact, as an erga omnes obligation for all states, that everyone has a right to act on it, no? Act against it, the crimes against humanity. And if you look at the capacity or ability of the International Criminal Court to arrest persons, it has no police force. It has no police individuals acting as a police on behalf of the International Criminal Court, but it relies on cooperation of states. No? So remember that this case, as we said, is international or universal crime. And every state has a right to topple it, against it, to fight it. So the Philippines is not exempted from that. Even if the Philippines withdrawn from the Rome Statute, under international law, we still have an obligation, erga omnes, as against crimes against humanity. In the same way that we have our own law, RA 9851, that looks into crimes involving international humanitarian law and also crimes against humanity and genocide. So not only under the Constitution, under Article 2, Paragraph 2, that we adopt the generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the land, but in fact, we have our own specific law. So, but we can only also apply some generally accepted concepts and practices, no, in relation to how arrests can be done in cases of conflict between international law and domestic law. And if it is the international tribunal that is deciding, international law shall prevail. There are questions on whether we apply 9851 that looks into applying it before the RTC or undergo extradition. But I think other than the fact that the crimes against humanity is a universal crime, and in fact an erga omnes obligation to that, we have constitutional basis, and also we have a duty to cooperate on this kind of universal crimes. And this is where the action of the government would be looked into in the same way that it happened during the arrest of former President Duterte. Titignan natin ang kooperasyon ng gobyerno. And here, this is the power of the executive branch. And we just do not look at this in the domestic level. We look at this also on the impressions that the entire world will have against the Philippines on its capacity to cooperate with international tribunals and international law.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney. Bobo Jen?
Oo. Pero paano ho yan, attorney? Kasi mayroon pa pong pending case sa Supreme Court about dun sa naunang pag-aresto nga kay dating Pangulong Duterte. And may posibilidad din na kung sakali hong maglalabas kinalaunan ng International Court ng arrest warrant, ay ku-questionin din po ng kampo ng mga napangalan ng co-perpetrator ang legality ng arrest kung sakasakali, attorney.
There is a pending case before the Supreme Court because they are alleging about kidnapping and non-compliance with due process and all that. And ang sagot natin dyan, especially for international law students, would be always which tribunal is deciding. If it is an international tribunal that is deciding, international law will prevail.
Lastly, on my end, in other words, Attorney, parang moot and academic na yung inihain nilang complaint sa Supreme Court, including yung posibleng ihahain pa, Attorney.
And also, it has a basis on cooperation arrangements or agreements by the Philippines, plus our duty also against the crimes against humanity. No? So, pwede nating sabihin na moot and academic. Ayoko lang pangunahin ng Supreme Court on this aspect.
Ibalik tayo dun sa kaso ni na Senator Go at Senator De La Rosa. Ano hong stand ninyo dun sa provision po ng Constitution which protects senators from arrest habang session po ang Congress provided na yung offense po ay punishable by not more than 6 years imprisonment. May dalawa kong katanungan ho dito. Una, kailangan pa ba ho ng Senate ng caucus? Kasi nakatakda kong mag-caucus ngayong araw ang Senado. And then pangalawa, ma-enjoy ba ng dalawang senador yun pong full protection ng Senado kung sakasakali, attorney?
It's actually political questions, no, that are new in this country, because domestically dati there was a case, 'di ba, in the Philippines in protecting some senators for local arrests or local cases, so they go to the Senate for protection. And in fact, in this particular case, which is a new one, so this is unprecedented, and we can say that the Senate here will claim about political and institutional independence and national sovereignty matters that dapat protektahan ang senador o ang Senado as an institution. An attack to each person is an attack to the institution itself. But we look at it in the aspect of accountability, immunity, and whether the Philippines can shield them. Remember that we are guided by the Philippine Constitution, that we adopt the generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the land. And that the Constitution, not only the Constitution, but we have a law also in relation to that, 9851. No? So, if we follow the same reasoning and domestically, so pwedeng gumawa ng maraming crimes sa mga senator, and the Senate can always protect them. Is that what we are trying to impress upon the international community? I don't think so, because I really think that accountability, immunity, and all of this, no, can create an impression to the Republic of the Philippines. And we are not just talking about national sovereignty here. We are talking about our ability to commit to global justice, not only to commit to global justice, but to commit to international law, and also our ability to cooperate in the rule of law itself.
Okay. Sige, attorney, from time to time, muli kaming uugnay ho sa inyo, lalo kapag gumulong na po itong confirmation of charges hearing mamaya ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat. Ingat po kayo, attorney.
Thank you. Salamat, Gid.
Ang isa po sa mga Filipino international law expert, mga kabombo, si Attorney Rodel Taton. Siya po nasisilbing Dean ng Graduate School of Law ng San Sebastian College diyan po sa may Recoletos.
For the most trusted source of news and information, visit our website at www.bomboradio.com. Follow us on Bombo Radio mobile app, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter. Like, share, and stay connected. Anytime, anywhere.